Yo, what's up? Bringing you that MLB 15 the show. This year, we're going to be running a franchise with the Seattle Mariners. Wanted to do something a little bit different. So in this video, going to be describing my plans for this series and how I'm going to run it. Also, we have our first game of the season, opening day. Should be a good one, but got a lot to discuss, and let's get into it. So here, owner expectations, yearly goal, win division, contract goal, win the World Series. You're also going to see my lineups versus right-handed pitchers and left-handed pitchers. I'm not going to get into my roster in this video because the next video is going to talk about that. And I really wanted to get in depth with how I'm going to run and manage this team throughout the year. But I had to at least show it because it is the first video. So you saw my lineups and pitching rotation and bullpen. But next video, we're going to really talk about that and how we're going to manage it. Also, we're going to preview each series beforehand. I didn't really do it in this video, but in Game 1, we have Felix Hernandez versus Matt Shoemaker. Game 2, it's going to be Jered versus James Paxton. And then Game 3 is CJ Wilson versus Hisashi Iwakuma. And then for the game, we're going to show the starting lineup. So for Game 1, this is our starting lineup. And then we're going to get right into the game. So pretty basic right there. But let's get into the details for this series while the game goes. So I should say what I picked the Mariners. Well, they are my favorite team, and if I'm gonna do a franchise, I've never done a franchise really since I've gotten MLB the show. I think my first one with MLB 11 the show. So since I've gotten that, all I've played was Road to the Show. So doing a franchise, it's something I wanted to do and something new to me. So if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it with my favorite team in the Mariners. So that's the reasoning I'm picking the Mariners. And I also like their team this year. I feel like they have a good team, and if they can get things going, get into a good momentum, that they can definitely contend. But they got to make the playoffs, but that's a different story right now. So my original plans for this series, I was actually going to play the whole series and upload one series in one video. So you would have seen 3 games in one video, but while editing this first game, I realized it was going to take too long, and also the video would have been upwards towards 15 to 20 minutes, and I feel like that's too long for a video to be. So most videos I'm going to try getting them around 10 minutes and under. And also because of that, we're only going to be showing one game, and the way I'm going to try doing it is just picking the best game from the series, so at least they're good games. And also I'm going to try to avoid picking the same pitcher back to back. Like King Felix, he's pitching in this game, so in the next video I'll guarantee that he won't be pitching in that one. Even though those might be the best games, I'm going to try avoiding doing that because I at least want to show all my pitchers various times throughout the season. I don't want to keep having the King Felix every single game and all that. So that's my plan with how I'm going to pick the pitchers. And editing wise, if you have any advice for how you want to see these edited and all that, shoot them up, let me know. But I feel like right now in this video I just did hits, walks, and strikeouts, and also in key situations like close home runs and all that stuff. And with runners on base, I feel like that's a good mix to have, and hopefully that's a perfect fit for right now. But definitely can change it throughout the season if you want to see more or less or whatever. But I feel like that's a good thing for right now. So I should also mention that I'm going to be playing every single game. Being my first franchise, really, I don't want to sim any games. I feel like that takes away from the experience. And also, I want to see how I will do through a whole 162 game season, playing with every single player, playing in the field and all that stuff. And how I'm going to perform with my pitchers and batters, see if we can get any accolades, any awards with any players. But really, I want to see my statistics through a 162 game season with every single player I have. I'm sure some players I'll perform poorly with, some will be great, but that's one thing that I want to see how things will turn out throughout the season, and that's one reason I want to play every single game. I think some people, I don't know how people run their franchises on YouTube, so I'm not even gonna say anything. But I've heard people play one game Sim 5 or something like that. I don't know, but for me personally, I want to play every single game and see how that goes in that aspect. But that's the plan for that. As far as difficulty, I have the TMK sliders. I read up on them. I felt like they were a good fit, and also they have a very good rating. So I wanted to have kind of sim sliders, and I feel like that's going to be a good fit for this franchise throughout the year. Also, I should mention that I only plan on playing one season. Once I get caught up with the MLB season, I'm a month and a half back right now. But once I get caught up, I'm going to be in sync with the season. So I'll be posting when the Mariners play and all that stuff. But like I said, we're a month and a half back. So we have some catching up to do. And some of the reason I started this so late is I was trying to get everything together and trying to figure out how I wanted to do this and how I was going to edit and all that stuff. So once I figured that out, once I got all the sliders and rosters figured out on how I wanted to do it, that's when I started, and we're gonna go on from there. But that's the plan moving forward, is once we get caught up, it's gonna be in sync with the season. So basically this whole series will be ending in October or so. And I also should be saying, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm gonna be posting a game from each series, so there's gonna be a lot of games and content throughout this series. And since I'm going to be posting a game from each series, the other games that aren't played, they will be in the description. There will be some form. I'll probably show the final score, notable players, and just winning and losing pitchers. So very brief, but you'll at least know the outcome of the other games in the series and what's going on. We'll have the record and all that also. So you're not going to be out of the loop with what's going on, even though we're going to only be showing one game from this series. You'll have an idea what happens in the rest of the series. Also, in the description, you'll see my player stats throughout the season. So the way I plan on doing this is you're going to see their stats from the series prior and before that. So for example, like in this video, you're not going to see any stats because the stats from this series will be in the next video, and also we'll have a record and all that stuff. But I wanted to show you a general idea of how my players are performing throughout the season, because really you only see in one game from each series. You're not going to see everything that they do, and I want you guys to have a general idea of how the team is performing throughout the season. Also, I should mention that I have the OSFM rosters. Like I said, I'm going to get more in depth of my roster and all that in the next video. But with that said, the statistics are going to be a big thing for me, because if a player is not performing well, we definitely have to make a change. I want to have the best 9 on the field at all times. And if players aren't performing well, or if they get into a slump, we're going to have to sit them out a couple games and change things up like that. But I don't want to get too much into this because my whole focus for the next video is to talk about my rosters. But just a general idea is that you guys will have some input in my roster if we need to make some changes once we get caught up with the MLB season. But I will listen to the input that you guys give, and we'll make changes from there and go on from there. But like I said, the statistics, they're going to be a big thing for me, because playing 162 games, that is one of the reasons that I wanted to do this, is to see how the team will do through a whole year, and who will be the star of my team, who will be the scrub of my team, and all that. But that is a big thing for me and all that. So I feel like I mentioned everything that I wanted to mention. As far as the commentary goes for these games, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. That's one thing I'm not sure. Most likely it will just be talking about the gameplay, but we can also talk about the MLB season. I'm sure there'll be some things that come up that are worth talking about, and also live commentaries, they might be an option. I feel like they're going to be a little harder for me to do though, because like I said, I'm only posting one game from each series. So basically I would have to do live commentaries for all 3 games and then pick the best game out, and it's just more tedious to do. But definitely in the playoffs, if I do make the playoffs, which I hope I do, definitely in the playoffs, that is something that I could do, because I would be posting every single game in the playoffs. So more likely than not, live commentary would come in the playoffs, and that's that. So I feel like I covered everything that I wanted to cover on how I plan to run this series. So hopefully we can have a good season, and make some noise, make a playoff run, and at the end win the World Series. That would be the ideal goal. But more importantly, I want to see, like I said, how I play throughout the season, and also I want to get my audience involved. I want you guys to have some form of input into some of the decisions I make with my roster and all that. That would be the ideal goal for this series, really. But I covered everything, all the starting points that I wanted to, and in this gameplay we had a good game. It was our opening day game. We're going up against the Angels. We were up 4-0. King Felix on the mound, pitching a gem. At this point, he only let up 1 hit, and it was a great game. It was a great game. One thing I noticed is I'm not a strikeout pitcher. I did have trouble locating my pitches here and there. We do give up a hit right here, so the second hit of the game. But even with that said, King Felix did have a dominating performance, only giving up 2 hits. So we definitely controlled the game and made it difficult for the Angels to get on base right here, ending the game on a nice double play. So definitely a nice first game of the season, getting the 4-0 victory. Couldn't ask for a better way to start the season. If you look in the description, you'll see how we did in our other 2 games of this series. Not as well, but King Felix, he is our star pitcher, so you expect better results from him. And honestly, I feel like how I pitched with him in this game, I won't be losing much with him. But at the end of the day, he is the player of the game. 9-inning pitch, 2 hits allowed with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Our notables: Thess Smith 3 for 4 with an RBI and run, Robinson Cano 2 for 4 with the double and RBI, and Kyle Seager 3 for 4 with a run, and finally Austin Jackson 1 for 4 with a run. And then for the Angels, not much going on, but Cole Calhoun 1 for 3 and CJ Cron with a walk, and that was it. I don't know who got the other hit, but that pretty much wraps up this video on how we're going to be running things throughout the year, and I'm out.